grab a pen and pad. You're listening to the Take Notes with Kiki Barber podcast. Your host, Kiki Barber, a wife, mother, entrepreneur, educator, and author, shares her experiences, expertise, and advice that you can apply to your own lives.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome. We have a few updates we want to give you guys first before we start with our amazing guest on today, my brother, Timothy Myers. But we wanted to remind you guys about the Hey Sis, I Like Your Shoes conference that is going to be taking place May the 20th through the 22nd. It will be at King of Prussia, PA. If you go to the Hey Sis, I Like Your Shoes website, you guys can get a chance to see all of that. You guys will get a chance to see all of that, everybody that's going to be there. We have some amazing guests for you guys. We have Radisha Howerton from Credit Medics, who goes by Big Bentley Niche. We have Jamisa McIver Bennett, who's the CEO of Rosebuds Investments. We have Coco with investments. We have so many things for you. We have a shoe night. Listen, we're going to have shoe cam. We're going to do it up in the spirit of love and the spirit of a sisterhood. So please think of that robbery to join us on that. So is that everything? I think that's the announcement that I have. So let's go ahead and jump in. So Tim, welcome.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. God is good. Everything is well. So we're going to jump right in with the daddy's moment. We always talk about the children and, you know, how hard it is to parent, motherhood, fatherhood, everything. So we know that you have two beautiful boys over there with my sister. So can you give us like a moment I know they've updated and said something that had you like shocked?
Okay. Wow. There's so many. So I'm gonna go with Michael with this one.
Okay.
I remember one day Michael came in and he was rushing to come in and go upstairs, but you know, I had no recollection of what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, you know, Michael, let me check your arm. You know, I didn't see any bleeding, nothing, but I just said, Michael, let me check your arm. And so he showed me his arm, and I said, you have a cut. I said you have to clean that, or it can get infected. So I said, go up there, get a hot rag, and give me alcohol and some tissue. And we cleaned it up and everything like that. But when it came down to the alcohol, I looked at him and I told him, look at me. I said, this might burn.
Wow.
I said, but this is to help you. It's going to burn, but it's going to help you.
Wow.
And I put it on him and he started to tear up. I said, listen, I know it burns. I know it hurts, but it's helping you. And the revelation that God gave me out of that was, I'm doing the same thing with you.
Wow.
I'm doing the same thing with you, with your circumstances, your childhood, and your situation that you're dealing with. It might hurt, but you have to go through this.
Wow.
You have to go through this journey. You have to go through so that when you get on the other side of this could be a remarkable testimony for someone else.
Wow. That is dope. But ain't that how God does it though with us? That is crazy. Wow, that is awesome. That and God uses everything, the small things that want to confound the wise, and he always uses things like that to point it back to his relationship with us and how, you know, and then that's why it's so awesome to parents, because once you parent, you see how God might feel with some of the things that we did and some of the choices that we make and how we might go against the grain, or, you know, so we get to feel that firsthand when we have children sometimes, and the lessons that we teach our children and the lessons that our children, they teach us. Because I learned a lot of lessons from my children. Definitely. I learned lessons on a daily. And sometimes they show me a mirror of myself, because sometimes it's like, you ain't got it all together. You ain't right all the time, you know? So that was awesome. So we're about to dive right in. We have a really, really interesting topic that brother and I wanted to talk about for a minute. And it's definitely talking about the foster care system. And bro can expound on it a little better because he was a product of that environment. I can expound on it because I am an educator in the school district of Philadelphia, where in my classroom I have had a number of foster children And I've heard the stories, and yeah, we're here. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, bro. Tell me your experience or how you want to open up about this.
All right. So one of my experiences was I want to go back to the beginning of it.
Okay.
So when I and my other siblings or whatever like that, I'm going to get into theirs, but I'm going to get into mine.
Yep.
My experience from it was traumatizing, because it's like, you're being ripped away from your family, and you're not understanding why. And, even though the conditions may be not from the outside looking in, it might not be good, but you know what I mean? Like, it's okay to you because you're
a child.
So okay So, I was ripped away from my family, not knowing what it was, why I'm being ripped away. And when I got in the placement, my first placement was St. Vincent's. It was like a group home. And that was like with other kids and stuff like that, and different things that they went through, what have you. So, but back to me, my experience there, it wasn't a bad one, but it wasn't comfortable as well either, because there was a lot of like triggers and traumas in there, whereas though like I would wake up, crying for my mom or crying for my dad to come get me, but it's like it didn't really register that I was there.
Yeah.
It didn't register that I was there, and I was going to be there for a while. And so now you're in this household with these people that you don't know, and God only knows if they're going to treat you right or not.
Wow.
Because a lot of people, when they're in foster care, like a lot of signs that like the caseworkers may miss, like the kid could be getting abused, mistreated. Like for me, like my foster father, he was cool, but it's like, the foster mother, she was a piece of work, because of anything that she went through in her childhood. Like, so with me, it was like, she would, for one instance, I said that I loved eating, what was it? I said I loved eating beets. But I thought like beets was like a fruit. I'm little. I'm like 5 years old.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was like 6 years old. I'm like, I love eating beets. So she's like, oh, really? So she made me really sit there and eat a whole beet raw.
Wow.
Raw beet. Yeah.
Wow.
And she didn't show no remorse. She made me eat that whole thing.
And you found out you didn't like beets.
Yeah.
But why? That is crazy. And then, like, going back to what you were saying earlier, I've heard this a lot, even with having group homes. I heard a lot that the caseload on these caseworkers and social workers is so overwhelming that when you were saying they miss some things, the reason they miss some things is because they are so overwhelmed with cases, and that's not an excuse. That's not an excuse. But I heard that that's one of the reasons why, because they take on they give them so many cases per person that you cannot possibly, catch everything. But at the same time, you might not have a caseload. You just might not care. Your job is just to get these kids placed. And as long as they not got no visible sign of nobody killing them, then we good. We just going to put them right there. Because I have had a lot of students, and I can say a lot. Some might say they're good with it. No, my foster parents are good. We're good. But a lot of them are unhappy. A lot of them are miserable. A lot of them, like you said, they go through the trauma of really getting in their head that they have this parent out there who's struggling and can't take care of them at the time that they couldn't take care of them. And then the parent might get themselves together and have other kids, or they might have other kids with them, but just one child can't be there, because they're in the system. And it's like, my mom got this, my mom had me and my sister or whatever, and we're in the system, but she has 4 other kids that she has, what I'm saying, that she has with her. So that would bring on the mindset of, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, why am I here, why are they there, why, like, it just brings a whole lot of whys, and that can't nobody really answer except a parent, and to me it's unfortunate and it's sad, and my heart is like soft for foster kids, because I have never experienced it. My mom had 12 kids, but she kept us all together. That's one thing she did do, is keep us under one household. And it was like, when we struggled, we all struggled together. We knew we was going to be with mom,
Right.
you know? So that's a little difference. And she did, like I said, a good job at it. So from your perspective, what do you think is broken with the system, and how would we be able to fix it? Or if you were to open a foster home or facility, what would be the difference, and what the breakdown of them missing things? How would you make up for that? Or how would that look for you?
Well, one of the things I would do is pay attention to signs. Mm-hmm. Like, is a child like scared, or is a child like not comfortable with certain genders? Because that could be a sign that the child might have been abused by either male or female.
Wow.
So those one of the signs, and those go missing a lot.
Wow.
Because being a victim of molestation and something like that, like the kids get silent.
Yeah.
It's not. They're not really expressive or want to be talking a lot.
Yeah.
They like really like.
They're reserved and they're. Yeah.
So one of that, and just checking for marks and stuff like that on the arms, and making sure they're not abused, or making sure that people are not talking down to them. So we want to have like conversations with them, like one-on-one conversations, you know, in the open space where they're comfortable at.
So when they would come out, how often would they come out to check on you in your place? Do they check often, or is it like?
And see, that's another problem. Like it would go months.
Oh, yeah, that's a problem. Months without you checking in. So in other words, it could be months of abuse before somebody at the West End even knows that you've been abused. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow.
And, yeah.
That is crazy. So, wow. So once you did talk to them, was it by yourself, or were you like in a room with somebody else where you couldn't really say what you wanted to say or give off the signs?
Yeah. So when I went to go like talk to my caseworker, it wasn't like something. It was like basically like seeing my caseworker, then I went to go visit my mom and my pop.
Oh, so
like it was like straight to a visit.
So you was happy just to go see your mom and dad. So you wasn't even trying to ruffle no feathers or whatever, because you didn't want anything to hold up the visit. Yeah. So absolutely. Wow. So have you had any experiences where you had great foster parents? Or was it just...
like I said, I only had one. Had one when I was placed there. So it was like I said before, like the guy, like he was a straight, humble dude. Like he was like he would show us how about business. He would show us how he does his construction business and stuff like that. He was a good dude. Okay. Now his wife wasn't a bad person. You know, I can't say that. She wasn't a bad person, but I could tell that she had issues. And like some of her issues, she was projecting on us.
And maybe it was more of his passion to have kids in the house and not hers. You know?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes you can tell when it is a union like that, when it's a husband and wife in a household, which person really wants this, and the other person just going along with it because, it's my husband, I'm going to just make him happy. But you can see it in the end, because they're going to treat you accordingly, you know? So that's not bad. So how long did you stay?
I was there for about, I want to say roughly about, 3 to 4 years. Okay. I want to say.
Okay.
You know, my experience there, and it was crazy because I had like other people that actually lived with us, and you had to figure out their personalities. So we was always fighting. Yeah. Fighting was like a big thing in there. Like we was always fighting.
So how many other, was it like a house just for foster kids, or like a group home, or was it like you were with a personal family and they just adopted or they fostered a lot of kids?
It was a personal family that just adopted a lot of boys.
A lot of foster
boys.
Okay, so the father definitely probably wanted y'all to instill some things in you guys that he was doing and things like that, but the mom probably was like, "Nah, I'm not for it," you know. Which is not fair, because they should both be on the same page, honestly. You know, especially when you're dealing with people. Children are so fragile, and that you can make or break a child just by a comment. and children remember things. Like people think kids grow up and they just get bigger, but they keep their memory with them. So they remember all of that nonsense you done did to them. They can pinpoint all of that stuff, you know. They know when you steal their joy, when you crush their dreams, and you crush their hopes, you know, when you make them do things that like, this ain't normal. Why are you making me do this? You know, things like that. Right. So yeah, like what's wrong with you that you making me do this? Like, I didn't do nothing to you, you know. And like you said, it could be, it is trauma from their past that they shouldn't have. So my thing is, when they scout for these people, it might be easy for the guy to pass, but how do you not scout for the inconsistencies of the wife? You know what I'm saying? And when I was trying to get a foster child, because I definitely wanted a boy. I wanted a boy. I went through the whole process years and years ago, and then I decided, like, you know, Key, you're too busy. So the time that you try to would allot to a child wouldn't be the time that they needed. You need to spend time with these children. You can't just put them off on somebody else or keep doing what you're doing and just, you know, missing things. But you need to be attentive and you need to be there. So for that reason, I was just like, nah, I don't want to do this. But I remember it was a rigorous process because they had me going through X, Y, and Z to get just to get approved for it. And I was just like, I don't understand how the system fails people when y'all put me through the ringer to foster. You know what I'm saying? Like coming out, seeing everything. Like y'all put me through the ringer to foster, and I see people who I deem, it ain't about me, but I deem that are not worthy, who just don't have a love for children, who get kids. I don't understand it. It baffles me. You know, it's crazy. Like what they say on the application that they got put through, and y'all took me through the ringer. You know what I'm saying? What y'all say? You know what I'm saying? Did they come out and do a visit? They, you know, or they got it past y'all real good, you know. But a lot of people, like I said, a lot of my students who I have one of my students who's in college right now, and she's like a second daughter to me. She has been all the way through high school, and I help her, but she's a foster child also. And just had a hard time transitioning, like didn't want her to go to college. And I'm like, why would they not want you to go to college? And she's like, they want me to go to college. And I'm like, so it was, sometimes it's all about checks. It's all about money, you know?
That's it.
And didn't want her to do anything. And I'm just like, well, you're 18 now, you're in college. And would be hungry, would be like, Ms. Rose, I don't know how I'm gonna do it. And I'm like, we gonna do this. Or you gonna graduate, sweetheart. Okay? We're gonna get you whatever you need, you know? And, I talked to my husband. I said, well, she's our foster child now. I said, not on paper, but just in the spirit. Like, she's our foster child. We're not gonna ever have nobody out there who's trying. And she was on my cosmetology students, and she, did an excellent job, straight A's. Like, I mean, in the foster system, and you see some people complain about stuff, that I don't deem they even complaint worthy. And then you have somebody who actually has legitimate gripes and legitimate people trying to hold them back, and they you know, they succeed through all odds. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to help you because you's a fighter over here, you know? Right. So that's what I saw in her. And like I said, she might need, it could be anything. Like, Ms. Ron, I can't do this, I can't do that. Like we had to literally order like birth certificates, Social Security cards. We had to do all of that all over again because they were like withholding her stuff. Like, you ain't getting nothing. You ain't getting nothing. And they're like, what about the money I saved from working? You ain't getting nothing. You ain't getting nothing. Like, and I was like, you know what, baby? Like, let it all stay. Let it all stay. It is not worthy. It's not. And you want to be a lawyer? I said, go ahead and pursue your dreams. Do what you do, and God will always supply whatever it is you need. Trust and believe that. God will definitely supply whatever it is you need. He will always have a ram in the bush, and he will always have somebody there that'll be like, somebody don't even know you sometimes, that'll be like, here. You know? So, and that's what's been happening. You know, she was like, I gotta work, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And I'm like, listen, you got a whole trade. And she was like, wow, I didn't think about it. I said, you went through school, you got a whole trade. You do hair, baby. You got a whole campus full of girls. You have no worry in the world. And you know what you're doing. So your campus is your job. I mean, your dorm is your job. Like, what do you mean? Absolutely. So she was just like, yeah, it's a job. And she was just like, I didn't think about it like that, Ms. Ross. I didn't think about that. I thought I had to actually go out. I said, no, keep your grades maintained. Do a few heads. Do a few heads a weekend to maintain, to stay above water, to make sure you eat, make sure you do this, do that. I said, and then you will make it. I promise you, God got you. You will make it, you know? But it was just, to me, it did my heart it just made my heart sad that actual people are trying to hold these children back and are mad when they get of age where they're no longer in the system. And you still try to keep them there. You still try to keep them there instead of, I thought our job as parents, and people who take on children are to let them reach their greatest version of themselves and let them know that anything is possible in this world. You can do I'm sure you do it with Mike and Malachi. I do it with Gianna and Sarah. Like sky's the limit. But to get somebody else's child who you didn't have to get, only to bring them in your home and hold them under your thumb because of a check, that right there is disheartening to me. Yeah. Very, very, very disheartening to me. So sometimes did you feel like it was about a check sometimes with you? Or did you feel like, okay, he really wants me here, or they really want me here and I feel loved, and this is a great, it's not my family, but it's a great substitution for what I'm going through at this point in time right now?
For the most part, I believe that it was about a check. Okay. I truly believe that it was. Mm-hmm. And sometimes as a child, you know, when someone's disciplining you and stuff like that, you might think they're being cruel. Yeah. But that wasn't just the case, because they would chastise me or whatever like that. But that wasn't the problem. The problem was like when you needed someone to talk to, when you needed someone to vent to, when you wanted to feel secure about something, that wasn't there. That wasn't there. You know, with her, the only thing that got me with her, besides the calling of names and everything like that, was you were trying to break me. You were trying to make my self-esteem be lower. You know and I already came here broke. I already came here broken. So your job is to build me up, not to condemn me even more or break me down or tear me down even more. Like, and that's what concerns me about the system, is that people look at these people as checks and not actually people that you're sewing into, that you're building up, that one day he gonna be so great and he not even gonna worry about his past. Like, he came to me in foster care, but he excelled and he's doing this and he's doing that, and that's an afterthought because we gave him the best life we could possibly give him. Like, a lot of people don't think like that. And the people that do think like that are the ones who eventually adopt you and don't keep you in the foster system for all that time. They actually take you on, and the responsibility of a check is alleviated, and it's all on them because they adopted you into the family. That happens, but it doesn't happen as much as people just keeping a bunch of foster kids for the money and not giving them a good life. I have a girlfriend named Jen who actually has a few. She started with foster. I think she's adopted some. She wanted to do one, but she wound up taking on families. Like, it was like, oh, his brother here too? Oh, his sister here too? I'm gonna do them too? Like, she just took everybody to try to keep everybody together. But when I say loves the children and treats them just like they are her own, because they are her own. They are the people we need more of. We need more of those type people. Absolutely. You know, more of those type people. Like, I ain't gonna just leave my kids. And when she coming with all of them. Like, she don't care. Like, I'm coming with all my kids. I got 2 biological kids, but now I got 6 because I got all these other kids. So we got 6 kids, okay? And don't mistake it for nothing else, you know. And then also, when you go into the foster system, you know, people want to take their own kind. Another thing about Jen was that and I always wanted to save a young black boy. That was just my thing. I want to save a young black boy. And Jen, she went in and it wasn't, you know, you can go in with that mindset or that heart. But when you see a child who needs a place to stay, some color goes out the door. You know, this is a child that needs help and another human being on this earth. And I can't just sit here and say, I'm just going to save him because he's black. I'm just going to save him because he this, he that. It's a child who doesn't have anything to do with how they came out or how they were born or their circumstances. It's a baby. Just save a baby. That's all you're doing, is saving a baby. That's it. You know? That's it. And a lot of people don't see it like that. So would you ever think about a foster, or how you feel about that whole thing? Well, to be honest, me and my wife, me and Diane, your sister, me and her thought about it, you know, maybe once or twice. And, it's a possibility, but I'm not quite sure. But it is definitely a possibility. It is work, but you know, just to give a child a nice home, some love. You know what I mean? Yep, some love. A lot of children out here needs love, because a lot of them been like Like a lot of them, they didn't ask to be here. A lot of them just go through so much because I can just picture me like even now when at times when I would just think like, wow, like where my parents at? Or wow, like why was I ripped away? Like I'm not understanding this. I'm not getting it. So like I could say like and you know some of foster children too. Like I could say a good 75% of them. First or second year, be depressed.
Wow. And nobody. So do they offer counseling for you guys? Like, do they offer counseling? Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
That's something you got to figure out for yourself. That's why so many bad statistics on children that went to foster care.
Wow. That is crazy. So they don't offer your. So this is the what I'm getting. They rent you from the house that you're used to. No, I'm serious. I'm just putting it into the methodology of it all. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they rent you from the house that you're used to because as a child, you're oblivious to everything that's going on. You don't care if your mom was on drugs. You don't care if your mom's a prostitute. You don't know. You don't care about all that. All you care is that that's my mommy, and I love my mom and dad, and I want to be with them wherever they are. I don't care. So that's null and void. So they rent you from the house that you're familiar with, that you grew up in, that you love. You know, you want to be there. And then they put you in an environment of a bunch of strangers. Okay, so now you got to combat all these different personalities. All these different psyches, all these different mental health, because the mental health of those other children are definitely at all-time low, probably, you know. And then, so while you're trying to collaborate and get used to and fuse with all these other people that's in the house, you don't even have time to get to know your foster parents on a one-on-one.
Right.
On a one-on-one, because you gotta like y'all jiving for like attention. You know what I'm saying? This person, that person, that person. So you never get that one-on-one time. And then on top of all of that, you're dealing with people who are crack babies or drug babies. You're dealing with people who were molested. You're dealing with people who were abused. So they take on some of that and bring it in the house with them. Okay? Because that's all they've been around. You know, so and then you have to sleep with them. So how do you sleep with one eye? Like, how do you sleep? What?
How you sleep?
How you sleep?
You got. Listen. Every sound, every creak, every crevice, you
one eye open, literally. So you can't relax when you're in this house. And then on top of that, you don't get any counseling for it. Anything to help me to bridge the gap between where my mom was and where y'all just put me. I can't get no kind of help for that. That is crazy. That's insane. That's insane. Wow.
It really is heavy.
Wow. That is sad. That does my heart sad because, you know, my heart goes out to the kids. I'm just sad. I'm so sad right now. But,
that's why a lot of them have trust issues.
They do.
That's why I had a lot. That's why I'm not exempt. I had a lot of trust issues.
Yeah, that's crazy. And the thing with Rob, I told him even with you got me crying. Even with I don't want to say her name. Even with our undocumented foster child or extra child, I like to, when I say something, I like to do it because I don't like to disappoint and I don't want to have nobody, like they already, like you said, already have trust issues. So my word is bond. So I like to feel like if I tell you that I'm going to do something, if you need a book or something like that, then take that to the bank. Don't ever think that I'm not going to send you whatever I send you. Just know that when mom, she calls me mom, just know that when mom says it, it's good. I mean, everybody else might have lied to me through the years, but if she say she gonna take care of this part of a bill for tuition, it's done. You know, it's done. You know, and I want her to feel like that. So at least that could be the beginning of her repair of, I can trust somebody, one person, at least, so you know, you can trust one person. You know what I'm saying? But that is sad. Oh my God.
Lot,
our system is so.
That's why a lot of them have trust with authority. Like I know with me, I had man, listen, I wasn't like I had zero tolerance for authority.
Yeah.
I would rebel because I didn't trust nobody. And I was insecure. So I would do things to get attention. Wow. But once the attention come, I get the bad type of attention. So I run away from it.
Wow.
So it was crazy, man. So it was like
wow.
Like I would always get into fights and stuff
like
that.
They do. They do get into. I had one little one. She was a firecracker in the system. I mean, she was in an abusive situation. Her mom, burnt her with stuff and did all kinds of things to her or whatever. Yeah. So she in fight mode all the time. Okay. No bigger than a minute, right? In fight mode all the time. She like, I don't care. I fought. I did this. I did that. I got burned with cigarettes. I got hit with this. I'm like, what? Like crazy. So now you're in a house and somebody telling you to do something, and you like, I've been raising myself all the time. Like, you ain't telling me to do nothing. And now you're fighting someone who's in that house is actually trying to help you. Right. Now, because you're distorting the fact that somebody trying to keep you safe and telling you can't do this and do that with the fact that you didn't have any of these rules before. All you did was get beat on, left places and things like that. So now you don't know how to differentiate between somebody actually caring and loving for you from somebody who was abusive. You think everybody's like that. Ain't nobody gonna tell me what to do. So now you fighting a lady who trying to help you. And I'm like, this is the time you're supposed to let her in. She's like, no, F that, cursing and everything. And I'm just like, our babies are so traumatized and she's so feisty and she's so not trying to get nobody in. But what I learned with her was she would fight everybody in the whole school. Mm-hmm. I've always looked at people met them where they are. And I've always conversed with children, allowed them to tell me their side. And I've always allowed them, and I listen attentively. And then I give them maybe some nuggets, or maybe they just want me to listen. They don't want me to say nothing, So, I've established a relationship with her where if they came and told me something, she'd be like, Ms. Ross, let me tell you what happened though. Let me tell you what happened though, Ms. Ross. So we had that relationship or whatever, but she would go off on any man in the building, didn't have respect for men. Mm-hmm. Any person of authority, like you said, fight them down to the whatever, knock out fights, little person. Yep. Like, so full of anger. And so at the age where I can protect myself now, ain't nobody gonna hurt me. I can protect myself now. I don't care what it look like. And I'm telling her it looks like love this time. This time is love. It's in a form of love. But you're so distorted in your mind and you need so much help coping with everything from the past that it's all one blur to you. Somebody telling you what to do is one blur, Mm-hmm. So she couldn't see it, but I knew that she was getting a breakthrough, or she could receive because she received from me. So if you can receive from me, that means that you can receive. You're receptive. You're just receptive to who you want to be receptive to. You know what I'm saying? So and it depends on who is approaching you and how they're approaching you. Like I come with all guards down, all guns away. I'm not blazing nothing. I'm coming, because I know that. If you're used to somebody coming at you loud, rowdy, all of that can't be my approach because you're already on the defense. Mm-hmm. You're already on the defense. I have to come to you I have to watch my tone. My tone has to be right. My delivery has to be right. Everything has to be right. I have to allow you to speak your piece. Even if that means you cursing. Like, just go ahead and let it out, girl. Because somebody along the way ain't letting you let it out. It's bottled up in there. Because it comes out, when it explodes, it explodes. She even had a boyfriend at school who, she was beating up. I'm like, why are you doing that to him?
That's not funny.
That's not funny. Like, why you beating him up? Because he gonna try to tell me something. And I'm like, so can't nobody tell you nothing? Nope. I'm like, oh my God. We have to get you some help. So she wound up, she left the school and everything. We had the COVID and everything, but she wound up calling me. Hey, I'm like, you know what are you doing now? But I love you, Ms. Ross. I miss you, but only because I gave her those real life conversations and I let her vent. I let her be herself. I didn't condemn her. I didn't hold her accountable, or I held her accountable for what she was doing, but at the same time, I let her vent until her side, and I think that made a difference in me just like, girl, you bad, girl, you this, girl, you that. I didn't label her with anything. I just was like, tell your truth. If that's your truth, I can't be mad about your truth because that's your truth and only you know your truth. And you've endured so much already from the time you were born to being 15, 16 years old. That girl, it's going to take a minute to recondition your mind and get you right. It's going to take a minute to get you right, you know? So it's just, wow. So what would you have if you had to have any last minute words or offerings for a person who's in foster care who's just like, I don't know if I could do this. I don't know if I can make it. I feel alone. I feel like nobody cares about me. I feel like my family abandoned me, because they have abandonment issues too. You know, what would you say to somebody that's in that place right now?
Well, number one, you know, I'm gonna always go to the source. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna always say that talk to God. Mm-hmm. Jesus is always there to listen. Oh, but another thing I would also say was get around someone that is positive role model, mm-hmm. someone that you can vent to, someone you can talk to, someone that you trust, you secure with. Mm-hmm. Also, you know, not to think negative about yourself, because you're put there for a reason, and it's up to you to be the best version of you in Christ Jesus. But also, I would say to them, it's only for a moment. Mm-hmm. It's only for a moment. It's not going to last always. It's only for a moment. And best believe it only gets better, because you're already at the worst part now. And from now, it's going to get better from here on out. You know, don't be another statistic. Don't be another person that they say, oh, this person's going to be on drugs. This person's going to be a junkie. This person's going to be a stripper. This person is going to be a killer. This person is going to be all these terrible things. Don't even try to even step into that. Be the opposite of what they say you're going to do. Yep. Prove them wrong. That's what I would say. Prove them wrong.
Prove them wrong. And every day that you're here is another day to get it right. So, and every day you're here is a closer day that you're out of the house. You're out of the house. So like my brother was saying, keep your heads up, pray, get a relationship with God. If nobody else is listening, if nobody else hears you, talk to God. He is always available. He's always listening to you, and he cares. He actually genuinely cares about your situation and things like that. And vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. You don't have to worry about getting nobody back. Because guess what? The great thing about that is you can have clean hands. You can have clean hands and annihilated enemy. I'm telling you, God will kill somebody, not literally, but God will annihilate your enemy, and you will have clean hands, and he will do it all on your behalf. All on your behalf. So you're just walking around doing everything right, and it's like, boom. Like, okay, Lord, thank you for taking care of that one for me. So don't worry about what people have done to you. Don't worry about how people try to hold you back. Don't worry about how abusive they are. Don't take their words. You know, reject the words. That if you know that's not it, reject those words. Don't let them sit. Don't let them fester. Don't let them grow. You know, dismiss them as soon as you hear them, and you will get through this. But you don't have to be a product of your past. You could be a product of your future if you just said it right. You said it right. You said it right. And that's beautiful. So
don't let your past dictate your future.
Huh?
I said, don't let your past dictate your future.
Don't let your past dictate your future. And sometimes when you get, all the time, when you get out of that hole, you go back and dig somebody else out of it. Because somebody else, your reason you're going through this is because somebody else needs you to go through this and to get out of it so you can come back and tell them how you got out of it. That's the only reason we go through everything in life. That is the only reason we go through everything in life. Your testimony it's not for you. It's for somebody else. So if you are in this system, like Tim came back and he said, this is how you get out. This is how you make it through. Look, I was in it, but look at me now. I made it through. I'm happily married. I got 2 boys. I have a house. Like, there is life after this. He has a relationship with his parents. You know, everything could be restored. What the devil thought for evil, God always turns around and makes it for good. So don't get stuck in your past. Okay? So any last minute words, bro? That was good.
No, that's it.
You good? This has been Take Notes with Kiki Barber. I am your host, Kiki Barber. I have my brother Timothy Myers with me on today. So you guys just be blessed. Be blessed. Don't forget about Hey Sis, I Like Your Shoes conference that's happening in May. Go to www.heysisILikeYourShoes.com for more details on that. We love you guys, and peace. We're out.
Thank you for listening to the Take Notes with Kiki Barber podcast. Please don't forget, notes on a pad without application is just notes on a pad. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and press that notification button so you can stay in the know. Until next time, my friends.